ladies and gents and boys and squirrels. We're coming at you, recorded on a Saturday evening, December the 28th, at the time of recording. What a time to be alive. Christmas just passed, the New Year is on its way, and we're in those days in between. What will we make of them? I don't know. Frankly, I don't give a damn. What do we have? What do we have this evening? This evening, tonight, we have to present to you something important, ladies and gentlemen. The number one movie in America. Now, that could be like 5 movies, according to America, I suppose. It seems like they throw that around all the time. I think because there's always a number one movie in America. Does that title mean anything? I don't know. I'm going to look up right now, number one movie in America. And if more than one result is there, it's a fraud. Number one movie in America this week? Oh, okay. So it's like a time-based thing. But doesn't it seem misleading? Oh, it's the number one movie in America. You'd expect that to be like a big deal. Apparently, so it would be the number one movie in America this afternoon is Alfred Fiddleheim and the Boys. Now, this movie takes place in southern Massachusetts, where Alfred Fiddleheim works as a bootstrap. Works as a bootstrap? See, that's intriguing. I'd go see it. I don't know how you work as a bootstrap. Maybe the guy recording it just misspoke. Maybe that's what happened. Number one movie in America. If it mattered, I might go see it if that title mattered, which it doesn't sound like it does. What does matter? Getting people in the seats. It seems just like a waste of time to say that. Because it's the number one movie in America right now. Might not be when you go see it. Could be tomorrow. Could have been earlier. Perhaps. I don't know, maybe Alfred Fiddleheim and the Boys is going to take off. Maybe Alfred Fiddleheim and the Boys are going to become the number one movie in America. Maybe they'll maintain it. Break some box office records. Gotta get that one out. Could be. Would they make a sequel? I was talking about the Star Wars movies earlier today. And how apparently this was news to me, but it makes sense that the first episode 4, I forget what it's called. I never memorized the titles. But the first Star Wars movie ever made was supposed to be it. Because they get the medals at the end and that big scene, epic, budget, lots of people. And that was supposed to be the bow on the end of that. Nice, full circle, they blew up the Death Star, it's great. And then the second one, episode 5, figure that out, was like, you know what, guys? Maybe we can do more with this. And then, oh snap, they freaking did. And that was, I think, the most successful Star Wars movie, either box office wise or everybody, the least amount of hate given to that one. And then they're like, well, we made 1 and it was great. And then we made 2 and it was even better, but now we've got to finish, 3-act structure. You can't just have 2. You got to make a 3rd. George Lucas doesn't sound like that. But they made a 3rd one, and then apparently it wasn't as good. But, that's the one where you find out Darth Vader is Anakin, right? And I was also thinking about how the people that found that out had to wait years in between for that big reveal. So it was like, oh snap, whereas I watched all 3 in a night for the first time. And then I already know, because it's been out for so long, I am your father, even though he never says that in the movie. But yeah, I just think that's pretty cool. What's not cool? The newer Star Wars movies. And I'm not talking about like the origin. I'm not talking about the George Lucas, like episodes 1, 2, and 3, with Ewan McGregor, who is coming back as Obi-Wan, and will hopefully be good because he's he's a good actor, and I liked his Obi-Wan Kenobi when I watched it in the new trilogy, and now there's the new trilogy and all the spin-offs, and they're not taking their time, and they don't feel like Star Wars movies, and in my opinion anyway, they don't have the charm, and that's what everybody says that was like went to go see it in the theaters, the original trilogy. They're like, they don't have the charm. Like, yeah, well, Jar Jar Binks, how much money do they make off of him merch wise? Ironically, probably more than what they intended. People buying Jar Jar Binks ironically, but not the point. That's neither here nor there. What's here and there is that the new ones. I watched one video that pointed out the fact that lightsabers are, well, yeah, how you're not. Think about any weapon. Just think about any weapon at all. In order to be good with it, you need to train for a long time. And just any martial art as well. Anything. Anything that you do takes time to get good at it. Like breathing, luckily you do that on your own, but you start out easy, right? And you probably do it with your mouth open for a while. So even then, you don't learn, and you figure, oh, well, I guess nose is better. Nose is better for breathing. And then walking takes a while, right? And that's something that you do every day, let alone fighting with a weapon, dude. That's not natural. It might be natural, the feeling to want to defend yourself, fight or flight, if you lean towards fight, sure. But if the other guy's been training, you don't have a chance, right? It's like Bruce Lee was a tiny dude, but then he freaking wrecked everybody. And they're like, well, his body is a weapon. So, my point is that lightsabers are supposed to be hard to use because it was like the Jedi race. Jedi Knights were religiously persecuted. It is cool. I was talking about it with my brother earlier, and it's cool. Like the lore and everything, where it's like it's supposed to be mystical. They're religiously persecuted, and not just that, they're hunted down. Like Jedis, you kill them, right? They're a threat or whatever. The new Empire and everything. It's like, no, get rid of Jedis. They're bad news. And then the thing about them was the Force was like, that's what separates a Jedi from the average alien race or humanoid blend between the two. Is that they have the Force and Force awareness, which is that spidey sense sort of thing. That's why they can dodge bullets. Well, not bullets, but the photon, right? Everybody knows the sound. Those coming from behind them is because they got that awareness where they know it's coming, and then they're also a master with the weapon. So they train, like, I guess anybody could train with it. But what separates a Jedi from the average bear is that the Force. Not everybody can use the Force, Luke. Use it. Not everybody can do that. You're just born with it. And then, sorry, George Lucas tried to, with the midichlorians and everything, tried to rationalize it, which you can see how it would be like, at first thought, you're like, oh, it's cool. They're rationalizing. It's like, oh, we get to know like why it works. And then, but in practice, you're like, all it really did was take away some of the mystery of it that made it cool. And I feel that, where it would be like, well, why you gotta do, I guess it's because we're in the age of like superhero origin stories and you want a reason for it to happen. And they're like, well, maybe we can explain it. It's like the enlightenment of cinema and storytelling. Like, we want more rationality. We need a reason. But it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Also, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away, enlightenment might not have happened yet. So who even freaking knows about that? So yeah, the Jedi are pretty cool, but they got kind of ruined. So there's that. The new movie's kind of blow, dude. Gonna be frank with you. I walked into the first one, was disappointed. Spoiler alert. The only part where I felt something was when they killed Han Solo. Kylo Ren killed Han Solo, his father. Also, he's got a cool lightsaber, but what's the point? Besides that, he's got 3 of them. There's no point to the points. I think he used it maybe once in the movie. Darth Maul had the double-sided jaunt, and he freaking used both of them the whole time. And it made him serious to fight. General Grievous, not a Jedi, not a Jedi master, not a master of the lightsaber either. Why was he able to do stuff? Because he's a half droid. Well, I guess he doesn't like that, but whatever. He's got 4 arms. And he can hold 4 lightsabers, and he doesn't have wrists. So he can just spin them around really fast, and it's like, well, I guess, yeah, that'll work. It's like if you pointed a helicopter blades at somebody and just turned it on. Yeah, it's gonna work. It's a little overkill, but it's to compensate for his lack of skill. Didn't mean to spit bars on you. Finger snapping good. Damn, I'm getting good at that. Anyway, yeah, so the new Star Wars movies, I guess go see them. Maybe they'll redeem themselves. Doubt it. Because I think it's because they're trying to, it's like the series is already there. So it's not like somebody had an idea, like with the very first Star Wars, where it's like, you didn't have the idea and then it's your baby and then you sell the script or you produce it yourself or whatever. It's just like, well, we want to tell another Star Wars story. It's like, okay, but you're using all the other ones as a crutch though. When like the first lightsaber comes out and you get that, you're like, oh shit. But it's not because it's cool in that scene. It's because when you hear that, you remember all the other movies and when it happens. So it's like, you're taking too much credit for it. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah. So what's the next thing here? Oh yeah. People that aren't OCD that say that they are. Now, it's not a huge problem. It's not a problem at all. It just annoys me. Why? Why does it annoy me? Because I feel like people they're dramatic about it. They're like, oh, I'm so OCD. This annoys me so much. And I have friends that do this that might listen to this. And I'm adding you. I am. And so, because it annoys me because you don't have it. You might think that you do. In reality, you just like to be organized. That's fine. I also like to be organized at times. Don't look at my room. But there are some things that I like to be. I like things being organized. It's just I don't take the time to do it sometimes. But I still like it. I like when things are in order and I know where everything is and I can just grab it with convenience. That's cool. That's nice. It's efficient. It's good habits. But just because you're like, oh, this is out of order, I'm OCD, not accurate. When something's, now I'm not a doctor either, but through some videos I've watched of people that do have OCD and things, unless it's causing you distress, like you cannot function when something's out of order and things like that. Unless it's causing you distress, you don't have the disorder. That's a general rule of thumb. If you're not like, I can't move forward in life unless I close the door 5 times. You know, if you're not being medicated, probably don't have OCD. There's a thing I have heard of called OCPD, which is obsessive compulsive personality disorder, where it's sort of like you manifest. Let me see if that's a thing. OCPD. Well, OCPD disorder. Obsessive compulsive personality disorder. I mean, just what do you think the D stands for? Obsessive compulsive personality disorder is a personality disorder characterized by excessive concern with orderliness, perfectionism, attention to details, mental and interpersonal control, and a need for control over one's environment, which interferes with flexibility, openness to experience, and efficiency, as well as interpersonal relationships. Well, nailed it with efficiency, talking about that. Okay, now let's see what the difference is between OCPD and OCD. OCD symptoms. Examples of compulsion signs and symptoms. Okay, here's a few examples. Wait, where did it go? Where did it go? God, I hate when they do that. They give you the little link and then it's not the first thing that's there, so then you gotta search through. Okay. Includes both obsessions and compulsions. But it's also possible to have only obsession symptoms or only compulsion symptoms. You may or may not realize that your obsessions and compulsions are excessive or unreasonable, but they take up a great deal of time and interfere with your daily routine and social work or function. So that's another thing, is like, if you're aware of it and you're not being medicated, then it's probably in your head. If you're not aware of it, that's because, like, dude, you think it's normal. Obsessions often have themes to them, such as fear of contamination or dirt, needing things orderly and symmetrical, aggressive or horrific thoughts about harming yourself or others, unwanted thoughts including aggression or sexual or religious subjects. Examples of obsession: doubts that you've locked the door or turned off the stove, intense stress when objects aren't orderly. Intense stress, okay? It's not like, fix that. It's like you walk over to it yourself and fix it, and if somebody were to object, you'll yell at them. Where was the thing where it said, like, washing and cleaning, following street? It was like, example, went to see a doctor. There's a difference between, hey, look at this. There's a difference between being a perfectionist, someone who requires flawless results of performance, for example, and having OCD. OCD thoughts aren't simply excessive worries about real problems in your life or having things arranged in a specific way. If they are affecting your quality of life, see your doctor. That's what I said. It has to be ruining things. And if it's like, oh, you like to be orderly every once in a while, then you're not even close. It has to be ruining your life all the time for you to have it. But it was giving me examples like washing your hands until your skin is raw, etc. Maybe if I hit the back arrow. Checking doors repeatedly to make sure they're locked. Checking the stove repeatedly to make sure it's off. Now, in my townhouse, that's a different situation because, well, it's twofold. One, we have a stove where the little knob is right in the corner of the kitchen. So it's like the stove is there and the sink counter forms an L with the stove counter, right? So there's a corner in that L, and that's where it's a nice place to lean up, where you're talking, like at a party when we're having people over and everything. It's a nice place to lean because you're like, oh, your back's to the wall, it's chill, it's open, you want to keep everybody in a circle or whatever, but you lean up against it, and that knob is just close enough to the corner where 7 times out of 10 you'll start to hear the as it's trying to spark itself. Oh wait, does it do that? Or does it just, I don't even know how my stove works, but freaking, though, there have been times where we won't notice because there's loud music or whatever, and then people are like, this is how dangerous it is. Just in the middle of a gathering, people are like, do you smell gas? We're like, okay, nobody light anything, okay? We're going to open the doors, try to blow us up just because people lean up on it. Sometimes it's us. And the other problem I was talking about almost dying with checking the stove, is that one of my roommates, I won't mention who, left a pizza, put a pizza in the oven, and then fell asleep. Fell asleep at like 2 a.m. Came back after a party, put a pizza in there, and fell asleep. And then I was going to go check downstairs to get water or something. I don't know why I was up. Thank goodness I was, because I was like, the oven's on, but I smell pizza. And I go down there, and then I check on the roommate who is probably making it, And he was asleep. And I was like, okay, well, that's not good. And then I look in the oven and the pizza's black. And I'm like, well, bet. That could have been a problem. And it's worse because myself and another roommate of mine, we had a Halloween party. Keep in mind it's December, so we should probably fix this. But the fog machine would set off the smoke alarms. So we took out the smoke alarms and the smoke detectors. And then, given that situation, there was a pizza that, had I not been awake, would have burst into flames, and we all would have died in a fire because there would have been no notification of it. Best case scenario, we wake up and the building's on fire. 3 of us live upstairs. Not responsible. Not what people want to hear. Okay, so I'm gonna put the smoke detectors in after this episode is done. All right. Example: nobody in this house is OCD because we would have. I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, how about Skittles, huh? I like Skittles. It's one of my favorite candies. Some haters are like, dude, they all taste the same. Piss off. They don't. And it's not just a placebo with the colors. There's a different recipe for each Skittle. There's a different flavor for each Skittle. The lemons and the lime ones used to taste similar. I could never describe what the difference between lemon and lime flavor was, but there is a difference. And I know that it's artificial, and my concept of lemon and lime candy is vastly different from actual lemons and limes, and different still from Sprite and Sierra Mist and 7-Up. So they're all over the place with the artificial flavors. However, they changed it to green apple several years ago. That might be, I don't know how many years ago at this point. It might be like, I want to say 2013, so like 6 years ago or something. First video I ever posted on YouTube was me ranting about that. I made like a sketch about me going to the CEO of Skittles, who was my brother, and shooting him in the face, which, you know, was comedy in the younger ages. Was like, you shoot them in the face instead of filing a lawsuit or something. But I didn't like the green apple. I preferred the lime. And in Germany, they have the lime. So I went to Germany once for the exchange program, bought a pack of Skittles, frickin' clicked my heels 2 times in one jump. Frickin' loved it. I was so happy. I wanted to buy all the Skittles. But they don't they don't taste all the same. Okay, if you separate them all and you eat one by one. Now, the reason you say that is because you shove a handful in your face. So no shit, what's gonna surpass is all the sugar. There's no nuance to a handful of Skittles. That's a visual satisfaction at that point. Okay? But just because you can't just because you can't exhibit, god damn it, just because you can't exhibit self-control doesn't mean that Skittles are all the same, okay? And I firmly detest anybody who suggests otherwise. You understand? Because that's like saying, oh man, what's it like saying? I'm trying to use candy bars as an example, but it doesn't work. It's like, oh, well, that's like, okay, how about the people that think M&Ms taste different? And you're not going to argue that? There are people that will say all Skittles taste the same, but M&Ms taste different. And to that I say, go fuck yourself. Sorry. Seems a little extreme. Seems a little getting a notification during the thing, turning that off. Seems a little rude. However, do that. Bye. You don't get to, so contradictory. It's all candy covered chocolate versus fruitful. Now, I like M&Ms. It's a classic. It's a handful of chocolate. Melts in your mouth and not in your hand because of the candy coating. Even though if you hold a bunch of M&Ms in your hand, the candy's gonna get all over your hand. And you're gonna look like, I almost went down an inappropriate road. You're gonna have rainbow all over your hand. Okay? Not a good look. Try to lick it off. It's fine. But if you're going to say that M&M's taste different and Skittles taste the same, GTFO. It's not true. I'll give maybe the blue ones. I think it's because in a book I read, like a book, like this is elementary school reading group book I read. They were like, we agreed that the blue ones taste different. It was like an art thief thing. If anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe I just threw you back to elementary school book groups. Language arts, man. Anywho. Oh, that was one thing I was going to say. The reason with the OCD thing. I remember when I would, and the reason I know you don't have it, besides the fact that I just researched shit out of it, is that I would do a similar thing with like ADHD and ADD. Now, I actually got diagnosed with ADD. Diagnosed. That sounds so weird. It's not that deep, you know? It's like ADHD, some kids like that have serious ADHD. Yeah, like they need medication because they're bouncing off the walls. And it's negatively affecting their life. Pattern established, okay? Now, ADD wasn't negatively affecting me enough. I did have meds for a little while, but they just, I didn't need them, and I didn't like them, so stopped. We just didn't continue with that. But I remember being in elementary school, I had a friend that was a little more ADHD than me, and we were thinking about it now, it's so I would, if I were to look at my younger self doing that, I would walk up to him. Keep in mind, this is on an elementary school playground. So a 20-year-old just walking out of the forest onto there's a gate, there's a fence in between the forest, like a chain link fence, but there was a forest, and then there was a suburbs on the other side at my elementary school. But the point is, some guy just emerging from the tree line. Well, I'd walk up to myself and smack him upside the forehead and then dip. Because obviously you can't hang around after assaulting a child. But I'd be like, dude, stop. You look dumb. What we'd be doing was like, I don't know if I said it or if we said it to each other. It was like, anything you can do, I can do better. But it was with being random. Dude, I wonder if my friend remembers this. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But this is back in elementary school. We were on the freaking playground, and he'd be like, I can be more random than you. And then we just start listing nouns. Just start saying stuff like stream of consciousness, but so forced. I don't even want to demonstrate it right now because it's so, it annoys me thinking about it. And I'm getting like, I think we were both trying to do it to impress girls, which is why you do anything as a fourth grader, I guess, was the time. It was like, oh man, if the girls laugh at it, if the girls think it's funny, because you can't discern at that age whether they're laughing at you or with you. But since we were both doing it, I guess they were laughing with us, because it looks like, even though none of us knew what a bit was, I guess it's just like the more people that are doing it, the more normal it is. Point is, don't do that. Don't ever do that. It's dumb and lame. Have a personality, not a personality disorder. Boom. Put that on a bumper sticker. Make millions. But yeah, that leads me to another thing. I remember in kindergarten, I was like, I know I wrote this down for some. Oh man, what was it? I wrote the words, it all started in preschool. Unironically. Or maybe it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but I don't know. Point is, I think I ran into a pole on purpose in preschool, and then people laughed, and I was like, yo, that rocks. That feeling of making people genuinely laugh is so awesome. And now I don't think, it's like, yeah, it's cool that they're laughing with me, but I don't really care much about the attention as much as I do. It's just like, I like to be funny. Like, I like to make people laugh. I think it's funny. is fun. And so I was like, oh snap, that's dope. Cut to kindergarten several years later, and I was like, guys, let's do this. So I was getting all the guys together, and I was like, I know how we can make all the girls laugh. And this is actually funny. We had one of those worm things on the playground at my elementary school. This was at the other playground. We had 2 playgrounds at the elementary school. And I just went there. I just drove by the elementary school yesterday, a couple days ago, and they got a new playground, and they put a chain link fence up in between like the mulch part and the blacktop, which is like the asphalt. But then the asphalt would be like, it was like a little bit of a hill. And then that would go alongside the length of the playground. And then the school would be on the other side. So there's like the school, and then the asphalt part that's like a little bit of a hill. And then there's the mulch parts of the playgrounds, right? And with all the stuff, you know, with all the swings and the slides and all that stuff. And they got a new one, but they put a fence up. And I was like, dude, now, you know, somebody's like, oh, it's for safety, so nobody like walks on the wood and then falls off. But it's like, hey man, you're not going to die if you fall. That's how you learn to, hey, I better have good balance, or I stay off of high things. Because if I don't have good balance, I fall and I hurt myself. And you learn that. You learn so quickly from pain. Negative reinforcement is very fast, right? But it leaves scars, emotionally and physically. Just wanted to let that sit for a minute. But the point was, I remember when I was little, back in my younger days, I was running on the blacktop, and then you'd feel like a freaking champion because the wood would separate the blacktop, like wood planks formed a perimeter around the mulch part, and it would form a wall-ish. It was like maybe 1.5 feet, right? But you could use, like in my younger brain, I was like, all right, so I'm going to run on the blacktop, and then I'm going to jump over the wood because I'm going to get a speed boost by going down the little dip in the blacktop. And then I get the speed boost from that, and then I jump over the wood, and then I feel like I'm flying. And that's because the mulch was lower than the blacktop already. And then if you use that little speed boost, bro, and you speed up and then you jump coming off of that speed boost, you freaking like, it was dope, man. I landed like Iron Man once. I felt like a damn champion. And I know no kid's ever going to get that feeling because they blocked it the hell off. Back to kindergarten. We had one of those worm things. It was like big metal, I don't know, like 1/2 foot in diameter, round, but not perfectly round. It would be like if you made a snake out of clay and then started banging on the top of it. So it was like a little flat on the top and flat on the bottom. And it was so you could sit on it or walk on it or whatever. And then it had these joints. So this thing in total was maybe like 20 feet long. And then, or maybe 15, or all around there. And then there were 3 sections of it that were just the metal poles. And then joining those 3 sections were like 1.5 feet long of this like flexible plastic stuff. So you could stand in the middle and then the other 2 ends would go up. Or maybe it was, yeah, you could stand in the middle. Or was it 4 sections and 3 of the rubbery thing? Point is, it would wiggle. So like you stand on one part and that part goes down and then the other parts go up. And then it would form like a zigzag, right? So it's normally straight, but then you step on one of these things and then it would straighten it, you know, and bend it all over the place. And so it was a fun thing to play on and everything. But it was also in the mulch, and it was also low enough to the ground to do the following. So I freaking full on ran into this thing and then like slowed down at the last second and let it like hit me in the gut a little bit and then freaking flipped over it, right? Like head over heels, heels over head, freaking flipped over it and then like landed on my back on the other side of it. And that was pure comedy. People lost their crap, man. It was, I mean, thinking about it now, imagine you're supposed to be a teacher making sure that these kids are safe, and you see this one idiot go to the top of the hill, putting his hand on the wall of the school, and then dead on running down. Now, in this section of the playground, there was no asphalt in between, so it was just dirt and grass in between the school and the mulch part, and there's no wood wall, so you just freaking like clear shot, and I freaking just and then flip over it, and freaking people were losing it. And now the key was you don't let it hit you so that you don't, I don't know, crack a rib and knock the air out of you or whatever. And so what I did was I got all the guys. I was like, guys, it's almost, recess is almost over, okay? We gotta do this now. So I got like all the guys in my class. This is like 20 kindergartners. And I got us all to lock arms and freaking run at it and do it all together. Dude, all the girls lost their crap. We all felt, dude, it was so funny. I mean, the teachers were probably like, I mean, we can't stop them. They're already running. But, I mean, it was so, the camaraderie in that moment, man. Where we all had a united goal and we all believed in it. And we did it, man. We all freaking flipped over and they're like, all right, we're going back inside now. And we were like, yeah, but we still did it, though. And that was awesome. Oh, man. And no kid's ever going to have that freaking memory. Not at that school anyway, because they're freaking Nerf foaming everything up. What can you do, huh? Too many moms and dads going to sue. If little Ricky gets a Bruce. What age are we living in? I'll tell you what age we're living in. We're living in the age of the least amount of effort selling stuff. People are just hawking crap. It used to be snake oil. You know, it's like, this is oil from a snake. It'll cure anything. And obviously you don't know how to read. So you're like, okay, I'll take your word for it. And he's a traveling salesman, so he's freaking gone, bro. And you get scammed. And you're like, well, at least it's a cool bottle for glassware. I'll rinse it out and make tea. But I'm looking now at this thing. I'll put a picture of it on the thing. I got to bookmark the timestamp here. 37 minutes. But yeah. So it said it's a picture of this rose that's made out of like metal or something reflective, and it's all rainbowy and everything. And the thing at the top says, this was on an Instagram story called Dose of Roses. Two different S sounds, right? Dose of Roses doesn't rhyme. He kissed my forehead, said, "You are my greatest adventure," and handed me this galaxy rose like it was a Disney movie. Don't besmirch the name of, and then 2 crying emojis. Don't besmirch the name of Disney and do that. He kissed my forehead, comma, said, quote, "You are my greatest adventure," end quote. Ampersand, handed me this galaxy rose capitalized like it was a Disney movie. Now, why do I have such a problem with this? Because a 40-year-old man came up with it. It's written like a teenage girl wrote it, and a teenage girl would not capitalize Galaxy Rose, nor would she use proper punctuation. Oh my God. It's just so, it's the blatant, like, so dumb. Like, they're pandering so hard. So I guess they're doing their job. I guess who I have more of a problem with is the dude. What guy would buy this? Okay, either a big dope. Either a guy would be like, you know what? That's beautiful. I'm going to buy one for her. And do that. Or a guy who's freaking whipped. And his girlfriend was like, oh man, I wish I had one of those. And he's like, well, I guess I got to get one. $12 for shipping. Well, I do love her. And it is a Disney movie. It's bullshit. I mean, it's like you'll have it and you'll set it. Oh, whatever, dude. And then a similar thing. This was on Snapchat. Equinox Jewels. Perfect for that special someone. Hey, you're advertising on Snapchat to me who doesn't give a shit. Which means there are people that might give a shit and people that really do give all of their shit that would buy it. And the fact that you're advertising to everyone means it's not special. He got me a sunflower pendant. See, now they do just enough to make it like, if you're dumb, you'll believe it. Where it looks like it's just a Snap story. So if you're just flipping through, you might mistake it as somebody you follow. But because it's got the caption, the Snap thing where it's got that gray little bar and then the white text. It says, he got me a sunflower pendant that says, "You are my sunshine. I think I am in love." If just this pendant is what, going off of nothing else, if just this pendant, written in, of course, that eat, pray, love, live, laugh, love, cursive font etched in with it, "You are my sunshine." If it was just this pendant that made you love them, we must be living in 1784. Because that is a 1784 move. To give someone a pendant and then for them to fall in love with you because of that. And also marry you for money. And so that you have more land. The only thing more 1784 than that is a powdered wig. If he handed it to you wearing a powdered wig, I would believe it. I would believe it. It would be better if he did that. Now, the font wouldn't make sense in that time, but, the idea, the gesture. It's an old-fashioned gesture, which is how you know this was made by an old dude, guy, or woman. No, I don't think a woman. Maybe they consulted a female. Be like, "My dear, you are my..." No, that's 1920s. Isn't it? Would we all sound British back then? In 1780? What was an American accent like? But whatever. "You are my sunshine. And this says that on the pendant, my dear. Please wear it also as a token of my love for you, which is eternal." And, oh, shit, dropped it. Oh, damn it. Right down the sewer grate. Well, I'll have to go buy another. My love is eternal. Love you always. And then he has 4 concubines. Because it's 1784, and who's gonna tell, dude? Who's gonna tell? His hair's fake. So is his love. Alright? Get that through your skull, lady. You aren't his sunshine, girl. He bought 12 of those. He's a womanizer, man. Alexander Hamilton over here. I bought 12 of the same pendant and gave one out every month. Now I have a year's worth of dates. Scoundrel. Okay, here I just take screenshots of these Snapchat content things sometimes. The outrage over Ghostbusters, Afterlife got real. Oh, that's the title. Ghostbusters Afterlife got real. The outrage over it, did it get real? Did it actually? How real did it get? As real as the ghosts in the movie? Oh, probably. And then there's also this. Is Lizzo hypersexualizing herself? You can't win. I like Lizzo. I like her more than I like her music. And I really like her music. Because she's like nice. She's funny. You can tell through her lyrics that she's funny. And the way she delivers the lyrics, that she's got a good sense of humor. I've never watched an interview of her. Never anything like that. Just her air, the way she acts and everything, I like it. She seems like an easily likable person. I'm going to watch interviews and be horrified that she's like a bitch or something, but she seems too nice. But then it's like, yes, she's overweight. Yeah. She's probably in the fat category, but she's like gorgeous. I think. Because she's got a nice smile. She's got a great personality. And so it's like, you know what? Lizzo is a babe. She's also talented, of course. She can rap. She can sing. She can make music that's good. To make music that stands out nowadays is already like, well, good job, because everybody's making music. And then to come out as a new artist in the rap game as well, as a female. I'm not saying because of anything, because it's hard. Well, it's hard for anybody to get out there in this. It's just I feel like less girls rap, less women rap. So it's like, of course, there's going to be less of them. But then it's also like to be good enough that I would choose to listen to your song over some of these other more well-established guys. It's like, well, that obviously means you're doing a lot right. But the caption is Lizzo hypersexualizing herself? It's like, bro, well, so body positivity until they're actually a good person? Like, what the fuck? Like, come on. It's like, okay, well, no fat shaming, no this, that, no, nothing. And then it's like, well, Now she's actually just, I haven't heard her say anything like, I stand for body positivity. You know, she's just like, nah, I'm out here, I'm owning my stuff, and this is what's good. And I'm like, dude, I respect the shit out of that, because that just means you're doing it because you believe it. Anybody who has to say anything isn't the thing. Or they're not doing a good job of it. Like anybody who says, I'm a very respectful person, unless you're in a job interview, you're not. Because you wouldn't feel insecure enough about it to have to feel the need to say it to prove the point. You would just know that I know you are. Rewind that part if you didn't understand what I just said, but whatever. And then there's another thing. I swiped to the left, and I went. It's part of the love don't judge thing, and one of the things on there was like, age is just a number. He's like 52 and she's 18, and you're like, yeah, age is just a number, but it's an important one. Hey, price is just a number. Yeah, but if you don't have enough money, you don't get the thing. Price is just a number. Sure it is. It's also a requirement. Age is just a number. Yeah, if you're under 18, buy. It doesn't work. But anyway, it's this woman who's, well, I'll let you assume what she looks like. The caption, I'm dating 4 guys and now I'm pregnant. Now, there's a picture of her sitting on a chair, a big leather chair. And the 4 guys are around her. Now, guess what they look like. Imagine all of them. Guess what they look like. You're right. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. No, it's not. One of them is wearing a Spare Wars shirt. So, it's in the Star Wars font. That's a nice bookend there. I didn't even realize there was Star Wars at the top and the bottom of this. But it's so, oh man, just noticed something else. Now, I have nothing against this. I have friends that do this, and I don't think anything of it. You can pull it off. But you're definitely a kind of person if you do it. And, of course, it depends on the context. Guess if the guy... I was going to point out the fact that it's so staged, like the way that they are. She's in the chair, and then there's 2 guys on either side of her sitting right next to her, and they're both looking at her inward, right? She's in the middle looking at the camera. And then there's 2 guys standing above her behind the chair, and each one of them has a hand placed on her shoulder. Guess how many of the hands in the picture have painted fingernails? Guess if any of these hands are the hands of the girl sitting in the chair. Okay. Your math is correct. Now, like I said, I've got nothing against it, but it's just one thing where it's like, if you're this person, if you're the person that is in this situation, you look exactly how I think you will. So it's like a rectangle, square, square, rectangle thing. Every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. Every guy that would be in this position is going to look like that, but not every guy that looks like that is going to be in this position. Okay? I mean, just search the thread. You'll find it, and you're going to be like, yeah. Now, hey, man, if that's what they want to do, good for them, okay? If it's all working out, that's got to be a great network. You know? Social network, support system. If there's really no jealousy or anything, and they're all just close, bet, dude. That's dope. However, that's not how it is. Oh, so many problems. You're going to raise a kid? Are they going to raise a kid? Are all 5 of them going to raise a kid? And that kid's going to grow up normal? I'll leave you with that, guys. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a happy new year, huh?